Thank you, Anila, and many thanks first and foremost to Missing Children Europe and the Malta Foundation for the Wellbeing of Society for organizing this year's edition of Lost in Migration, which I believe is in your fifth year edition so far. So thank you also to the other speakers who have spoken before me today, as you made some very valid contributions which I will continue to think about for the coming days and long into my work on migration in the Committee on Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs in the European Parliament. Friends, I have been invited today because, of course, first and foremost, I work on migration issues in the European Parliament. But that is not why I decided to accept the invitation. I wanted to come to this conference today because I have two main beliefs in the world. My first belief is that we should always trust science. And my second belief is that we should always, and I repeat, always, listen to the voices of young people and children. I believe wholeheartedly in young people. They are not only the future, but also the present of our society. And in my work as a member of the European Parliament, this belief is central, not only in philosophy, but in actuality. I get many of my ideas for my policies from young people because somehow it's always young people who look outside of the box when it comes to solutions for today's and tomorrow's problems. Somehow it's always young people who know what we need to focus on next, where we need to improve, and the places we need to strive to get to. It's almost as if it is the lack of life experience that allows young people to look at life in a whole new way. Or maybe it is the experience of watching the rest of us go down paths which have not always worked, which makes them dare to take roads some of us have never even dreamed of. And that is the role of young people in our society when it comes to policy. Their role is to be the dreamers, to challenge us, keep us on our toes, and push us to strive for a better world, a cleaner world, and above all, a kinder and more inclusive world. And so when I am asked the question, Cyrus, how do you see the role of Parliament in supporting child and youth participation? My natural answer is to say that it is our duty to involve young people and children in the conversation as valid citizens of our society that are affected by the decisions that we make every single day. A few months ago, the European Parliament hosted the European Youth Event, an event which I encourage all young people in Europe to apply for. It is here where politicians were given the opportunity to listen to young people's concerns, young people's ideas, and your beliefs. And wow, was I impressed by what I heard. Young people from all around the continent came to Strasbourg to highlight issues such as climate change, mental health, race and equality. And everything I heard during this event gave me hope. It inspired me to come back here in Brussels and take bolder decisions, to make higher targets for our policies, but also for myself as a policymaker. So it is very natural that I really welcome the European Commission's Child Rights Platform. I don't just welcome it, I am truly excited by it. The idea that the European Parliament will be able to be involved in the establishment of a platform that will connect existing child participation mechanisms in the different member states and existing EU-level platforms makes me extremely excited to honestly just sit and listen to children and young people speak. Because as a progressive politician, I know that some of the most out-of-the-box, innovative ideas will come out from this platform. I am also particularly excited to see children and young people participate in the European Climate Pact, as I know that this is young people and children who are on the real forefront of innovation when it comes to the fight against climate change, renewable energy, and protecting and healing our planet. Our role as parliamentarians is to listen. And just as I was at the European Youth Event, our role is also to be inspired. And as a progressive politician, what definitely inspires me most about young people is just how inclusive you are. The voices of the marginalized become the voices of the many in our youth. This is because they refuse to leave anyone behind. Malta is famously known for being at the top of the ranking on the LGBTIQ rights map in the world. And as a consequence of this, our young people are immediately and automatically human rights defenders in this regard. The theys and thems and pronouns that we find ourselves arguing about as adults, even just last week in the European Commission itself, are aspects of language that we do not even need to teach our young people anymore. Instead, today, you teach us, because you are the generation of equality, the generation that looks past your differences and towards your common grounds. But as adult policymakers, we haven't evolved as much as our youth. So it is our duty to ensure that it is the voices of marginalized youth that we pay particular attention to. We must remember that intersectionality, especially, is found everywhere. Indeed in adults, but also in young people and children. So as policymakers, when we have conversations about marginalization in our societies and the importance of intersectionality within this context, we must remember that being a young person or a child is an intersection within itself. But all of this talk and what we need is action. And as a decision maker, I want to see more youth involvement in the decision-making process. We need to strengthen the European Youth Event, and we need to get the ball rolling on the European Union's Children Platform. And we need to ensure that all of this isn't a one-time thing, a ceremony to say that we have done it. We need to make sure that we are keeping in touch with our young people in order to stay ever relevant in our ever-changing world. So I will conclude here, because as a policymaker and a decision taker, today I'm mostly here to listen to the issues that matter the most to young people. And above all, to pledge to take action on the basis of young people and children's words, and more importantly,